Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I'm doing the Picket Fence Dream speed build. So this is a 3-part speed build. I know it's a lot, but this build took me an entire 5 hours. I'll talk about why in a second, but I also just want to let you guys know that you can download this off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. So this build took me so long because I've been crazy busy with school and grad school applications, which you guys have probably heard about on like every single speed build I've done, but it's the truth. I'm swamped, I'm anxious, I'm stressed. Moving on. But yeah, so I did this speed build in like 20-minute sections every time. Like I just tried to fit this in on my breaks pretty much. So that's why this build is like so long. But I thought it turned out well, so maybe it's worth it. This first one is mostly just going to be doing the structure of the house, the exterior, and then also the landscaping. And then the next 2 parts will focus on the interior. And the next 2 parts are going to be like a bit shorter, which is also planned because that makes it a little bit easier for me to produce content for you guys on a more regular basis without running myself absolutely ragged, because at the same time I also had a cold. So the universe just like came together and was like, you know what, let's give Penelope everything in a bad way. But yeah, so this house is called Picket Fence Dreams because it's definitely inspired by the new picket fences that we got in the backyard stuff pack. So I'm a little bit late to the game with this build. I at first was thinking of calling it Suburban Dreams, which I'm glad I didn't, because I think somebody else named their build that or something along those lines. And so I'm kind of just like, well, hopefully this title is still original. But, you know. So here you can see me kind of struggling with the front deck. And I end up really like the roofing that I did. That I end up using words, sentences. But right now here I'm just kind of like, well, should I do pillars? Like it looked too blocky and then it looked too wide and I just wasn't sure. So I kind of gave up on it and then I moved to the backyard. And with this build, even though I'm using the backyard stuff pack very heavily, I think that, you know, it's both backyard and front yard looks good. I mean, hopefully. But I absolutely love this build. I think it's really fancy. Like I think it's really fancy suburban, like a very upper middle class America where like, you know, they have like the new residential area that they've just filled with absolutely humongous houses. Like I just did a modern build that was on a bigger lot than this. But I think that this house is bigger. It's probably bigger by square feet, because it also is going to have a really decked out basement. But like this build has, I think, 5 bedrooms by the end of it, maybe 6. I think it's 6. Let's see. There are 4 on the top, 1 on the first floor, and then 1 in the basement. So yeah, 6 bedrooms. I don't think I've ever done a house with that many bedrooms before. I partially did that because I've noticed that I do a lot of builds where even if the like build is huge, there's only like 3 bedrooms. So I wanted this house to have a lot of bedrooms. Like this is the first time I built a house where you could have 8 Sims in it and still have extra beds. So that's really cool. But yeah, so I think at some point there might be a section that's cut out because I forgot to film it. Like I said, 20-minute intervals was like, oh my gosh. I was just trying to fit in as much as I could. I'm like, yeah. I don't want to go into too much detail about like how stressed I am about everything because I mean it's not that exciting, but just know that I am. I'm a big complainer. Like I've noticed that when I get like sick or something, I love to complain. I'm just like, I'm sick, feel sorry for me. Like, I even tweeted about it. Like, I'm just like, I'm a sore loser in the sense of having a cold. But here's where I'm finally figuring out a front porch roof that I really like. I just absolutely love this idea. I love that I love how it's more than one level. I think that's pretty cool. And then in the back, I decided to put in that sort of lattice thing. And so we have a front porch and a back porch. I did base this build a bit off of my aunt and cousin's house. It's not as like, their house isn't as like fantastic as this. Like, it's not as decked out. But they did have some of the classic suburban elements that my house didn't have growing up. Like, they had a nice pool, they had a sort of basement area, rec room, just like a front porch, back porch sort of thing. I grew up in a very woodsy area, so it was a different type of house. I mean, still a great house, but just very different. But I think here I might have cut out dividing up the rooms. Yeah, I definitely did that. And at this point, I hadn't decided to put in a basement, but the basement, I think, really adds to this house and what makes it luxurious. There's also on the third floor, there's this attic space area, and it doesn't have a stair going up to it because it wouldn't fit. And so later on, probably in the next part or so, I actually would have tried to make like a trapdoor, not a trapdoor, but like, a pull down sort of staircase thing. So I don't know how much that worked, but I just didn't want a staircase. Yeah. So now I am sort of starting, I've been doing the like painting, and I really like how I have the sort of stonework sections and then also the regular like siding. And I ended up making that siding, I took off the siding that has the borders because I hate how in The Sims that specific wallpaper doesn't really like produce like consistent borders on the edges of things. So I just put in a whole bunch of pillars to sort of replicate that. So that'll make the house more expensive. I forget how expensive this house was, but it was definitely over like 200,000 simoleons. So unless you're really good at playing The Sims, you're probably going to have to cheat. I remember playing, I think The Sims 2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I just built the most luxurious, biggest house I possibly could. It probably looked hideous. There was lots of like free space. It was very barren actually, and there was tons of rooms, like hundreds of windows, and it was so expensive. And I was like, I'm going to work up to make enough money to finally move in. And I did not. I think I lasted about a day or two of like trying to play The Sims. And I was just like, nope, can't do it. I'm just going to cheat. I've definitely always been a bit of a cheatsy pants. Just because I love building so much, and it can be really hard to do the style I like. And have it be affordable, especially because I love clutter, and some of the clutter objects in The Sims are like super unreasonably priced. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, so there are some sections of the roof that I don't like, only because they stick into the balcony. You can see it on the front, and there's also a bit of that on the side balcony. But I really like the roof otherwise, so I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna leave it. Like, that's the fault of The Sims sort of dynamics. I really wish that the half walls would count as being a wall that the roof shouldn't go through, like other, walls, full walls do. But for now, I'll take it. But here I am finally starting to get into the landscaping, which is, oh my gosh, I went like kind of overboard, but I really liked it. At first, I thought I wanted to put hedges in front of the picket fence, but then that kind of hid it. And the point of the picket fence this build was to show the picket fence. So I ended up putting that on the inside right here, and so you can still see the picket fence really well from the front, and then I got that sort of look I wanted in the back of it. So that worked out really well. I definitely did cut out some sections of me just shading, like going around and shading underneath all of the hedges. That took a little while. I think there was definitely one study period where, or study break where I went to go do this, and I was like, oh, I only got to like shade. I didn't even get to build anything. So that was like a little poopy, but you know. And so here I'm putting rocks around, and can we talk about the rocks in The Sims? Like these like 5 base game rocks in like 5-ish colors, 2 of which I really consider to be usable. Like a lot of them are like really dark colored rocks or just look kind of obvious, or like the black rocks. Like could we get more? Like is that one too much to ask? Oh, here we go. So see this? I realized that I made really phallic images right there. Yep, I just made a whole bunch of them. So I'm glad I noticed and deleted that. Cause that would have been interesting. Definitely. But yeah, here, I kept turning move objects sheets on and off. Well, because 1, I kept coming back to the game, and 2, because I wanted to make sure this water slide was usable. And it is usable. I tested everything, mostly everything. And so it definitely works. Maybe it's a little bit awkwardly placed, but it's kind of like, how do you not awkwardly place a water slide? Like, I don't know. I don't know that much about water slides because I didn't have one growing up. Like, like I said, I grew up in sort of a foresty area, and so there were lots of roots and uneven ground, and so it just would have been like super painful to do an actual sort of water slide like that. But here is the front area sort of garden section, and I really like this. I think it looks super cute, like super ready to like be gardened. Is that a thing? I don't know. But I also stuck in like some gnomes and a flamingo, so that's fun. And then, like I said, this one has a pool, and I love how this pool turned out. Like, I think, did I? I'm forgetting whether or not I had it featured in the intro. I might have, just because I loved it so much. I really like those new frogs. I didn't think that I actually would. Like, you'll see me put in these sort of frog statues that spit water out. And I didn't think I'd like them, but I actually really do like them. I think they just really go with the pools very well. It's kind of adorable. But yeah, like I said, definitely tried to feature the stuff pack as much as I could. And especially because I didn't do a review. And I mentioned this in my Let's Play, Wishing Well Legacy Challenge, where I, like, you know, showed using some of the stuff, but I didn't actually, like, sit down and review it. Because that just takes too long. I'm stressed for time. But, yeah. By the time that I'm done with the backyard, it has the bird feeder, it has a grill, it has a little seating section on the porch, and a seating section outside. I don't keep the hot tub, because lately I've been wanting to do hot tubs, but for some reason, they always look so awkward that I just kind of like leave them out. Like my Modern Paradise build, I wanted a hot tub, but for some reason it just like didn't really fit. So that goes. And its place gets taken by the new 6 people tables, which I know a lot of people are mildly frustrated about this, but I just want to say I also am as well. Why do we now have a 6-person table that only has an umbrella? Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have also given us a 6-person table without an umbrella. Like, why? Oh my gosh, that frustrates me so much. But yeah, I'm like always complaining about what The Sims has to offer. I'm like super picky and like, oh, I'm sure it's super easy. They're just not doing it. Which probably isn't true. So it's sure coding is a lot harder than I think it is. But here I am moving over the house because I feel like what true suburban home wouldn't have driveway? Maybe not driveway, but like most do have driveways, a place to park, and so I definitely wanted to add that in. And here I sized up the car way too big. I was trying to like compare it to like doors for scale, and like it ended up being really huge at first. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. I finally took one of those big tests that I was talking about today, so I'm really tired. My brain is like pooped. But here's the seating section, and I oh my gosh, this is actually from that other sort of backyard set. I forget what it's called. Maybe it was like, I forget, I totally forget what that was called, but it was the one that introduced hot tubs. And so I definitely use a lot of that in here, and here's a little sort of meditation corner. I think that I imagine that to be for like the classically stressed out suburban mom. I mean, rightfully so. They have to do so much. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. But yeah, I think, what am I about to do? I think, yeah, I'm starting to add in a bit more landscaping, just because I was remembering that my aunt's house sort of had little sections of landscaping, and so I wanted to include that, and there were a couple of places I also wanted to put it, but oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That slip and slide got in the way. Is slip and slide trademarked? I feel like it is. So I managed to fit in this other little section of landscaping, but that was about it. I couldn't really fit anything else and still keep the slip and slide, which was kind of part of the point of the build, was the slip and slide. But yeah, this next part is mostly just me struggling. Like, that would have looked so cute, I thought, but there was just no way. And then I tried, to move the rocks back a bit. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys could hear that. You probably could. That was the recycling. It's super annoying. I'm pretty sure that we have 2 recycling trucks and a garbage truck that come on Tuesdays, because I live in an apartment complex, so there's a lot of stuff. So, triple the fun of a garbage truck all in one. But yeah, so I was just struggling there, and now I'm adding in the lighting, which I really, I enjoyed. I really liked how I did pretty much everything in this build. Like, I have those little lights hanging from, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm yawning, hanging from the little trellis, and so I really like that. And here I'm adding in another little landscaping section. I also lined the path with rocks because I thought it looked more consistent, and I'm like trying to like pick out plants that I've already used, so it's not like, excuse me, oh my gosh, now I'm burping, excuse me, oh my gosh. Well, on that note, the screenshots are coming up soon, and those are just of the exterior. There'll be more screenshots on the next video. If you like this video, feel free to leave me a like, a comment, or subscribe. You can download it off the gallery, my origin ideas for penappleYT. And yeah, I hope that all of you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!